is so important to be consistent. You know that it's so important for them to learn to obey. So, you need to teach them to be respectful. You need to teach them to be obedient. And then you need to teach them the things that are most important for their life. Look at Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. There is a promise that comes with the Fifth Commandment, that your days may be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving to you. Honor your father and mother, that your days may be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving to you. When you look at this verse in relationship to some of the other verses in the Bible, then you begin to understand that this is talking about teaching. This is talking about the sort of teaching that parents give to their children. This is the primary way in which the Bible applies that promise. When you look at Proverbs, this is what you can read. Hear, my son, and accept my words, that the years of your life may be plenty. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 10. And there are a lot of other proverbs that are like that. There are a lot of other passages in the Bible that are like that. If you accept the words of your parents, if you follow faithfully after their teachings, then the years of your life will be many. Long life in the Bible is connected with the good teaching of the parents. We as parents provide for our children by giving them moral guidance that they're going to need in order to live life well. We provide them with this teaching that is going to help them for all of their days. Moses was talking about the Ten Commandments, and he was talking about the responsibilities of parents towards their children, and he said it's very important for parents to teach their children day in and day out in order that they may understand what God requires of them. Moses said in Deuteronomy chapter 6, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words that I command you shall be on your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise. You shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. If you are walking in the road, then you're not at home. If you're at home, you're not walking in the road. If you're lying down, then you have not risen up. If you're rising up, you have not laid down. The way that Moses is talking about this is he is using these extremes in life to talk about doing something all the time. If you're talking with your children about God's commandments, when you're lying down and when you're rising up, that means you're talking about it all the time. If you're talking about it when you're in the road and when you're at home, then you're talking about it all the time. You as parents should constantly be teaching your kids day in and day out, all the time, from morning till evening, about the Ten Commandments. You should constantly be telling them what God requires of them. Whenever they are speaking, you should be talking about what God requires of them. One of the ways in which children will interact with their parents is they will ask a question. Why? Anytime you hear that question, why, you can pretty much bet there's going to be some opportunity for you to teach them something about God. I was with a very good parent one time. A lady whose name is Joanna Robertson, wife of Palmer Robertson. And Joanna was interacting with her little kids, and the little kid went over there to a fountain outside of a restaurant. And he was looking down into this fountain where all of these little coins had been thrown. And he looked at the pennies, and looked at the quarters, and looked at the nickels, and he said, Mommy, why is there money in the fountain? How would you have answered? You might have said, oh, because people put it there. But this is how Joanna answered. And it was a beautiful example of teaching your children throughout the day. Joanna said, some silly people put it there because they believe that it will bring them good luck. In America, people believe that they take money and throw it into a fountain, and it is going to give them good luck. But Joanna corrected that thinking. She said that is silly thinking. And she said that we as Christians trust in God for what we need. We don't throw our coins into a fountain. That is good parenting. That is what it means to teach your children day in and day out. That your days may be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. When you think about your days being long, when you think about life, when you think about the gift of life, when you think about this idea as it exists in the entire Bible, then your mind should be drawn past the things of this world into the other world, from this life into the life to come. When you think about this commandment with respect to the entire Bible, then you need to realize that the most important thing that you need to teach your kid, the most important thing that you need to teach them about life and long days, is that they can have a relationship with God, a relationship in which their sins can be forgiven, and they can have eternal life together with Him. If you've done a good job of providing for their clothes, if you've done a good job giving them school and giving them education and giving them all of these other things, and you've even done a good job teaching them about the Ten Commandments, and you haven't taught them about eternal life, you have still failed as a parent. You, as parents, are primarily responsible for teaching your children about the love of God and how they can be saved. They need to understand that when they fail to keep God's law, that brings about a separation with God. God doesn't like it, and God punishes sin. But you also need to teach them that God shows His own love for us, and that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Jesus died to pay the penalty for sin. And if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised Him from the dead, then you will be saved. You need to teach these things to your children. You need to understand them yourself and then communicate these things to your children so that they can have long life that is eternal. Brian Edwards said this, and this is how we'll close. Brian Edwards said, "We feed our children with sufficient food, clothe them with the latest designer outfits, and provide them with the most comprehensive education in history. But their souls are starved, their emotions are hurt, and their minds are filled with violence. Our children are neither cared for nor disciplined, and we have kept them ignorant of the laws of their Creator." Commit yourself to more. Commit yourself to honoring your own parents and making sure that your children honor you as